Hey guys. I'm Benjamin, and I'm here to present to you the Sandringham Environment series. Yes, been very excited to read this series of books. Of course, I'm turning it into a podcast because, not a podcast, but audiobooks, because I like to listen to things while I work, and there's not always that many great things to listen to. Particularly not local to the Sandbelt in Melbourne, Victoria. So we're going to start off with, here we are, the Sandringham Environment Series number 1, Common Birds. Introduction. Birds are fun to watch, but it's even more fun when they can be recognized and their habitats understood. For instance, is that male superb blue wren flitting through the undergrowth really pursued by a harem of twittering females? Or the cuckoo often heard in spring? Though not saying cuckoo, it is silent for the rest of the year. The answers are in books, but first the birds need to be identified. Many older Sandringham residents can remember areas of swampland, but these have now disappeared. With them having gone, the water birds, as distinct from seabirds, the herons, egrets, ducks, and many others. Where we have kept our natural vegetation, heathland or tea tree banksia scrub, native birds of many species are still there. Where we have replaced it with buildings, roads, and introduced plants, here most of the birds that thrive are also introduced. They are also the most obvious. To help with identification, we have listed the most common birds in the places where they are most likely to be found, although many of them can be found anywhere in the Sandringham district. The most important... I should preface this by letting you know that this series of books was created in the 90s. I'm sure there's somewhere it lists that out. But keep that in mind. So these are not the most up-to-date books, but sometimes the older booklets have information that is otherwise lost to the people of the present time. So it's always nice to go back and look at these old records. Now I shall continue for you lovely little cotton buds. Found anywhere in the Sandringham district, the most important single practice in bird watching is to write down what is seen at the time, not later. Without binoculars, most birds appear as shapes rather than as glorious illustrations in books. So, look at the shape. Compare the size with any well-known bird. Is the bird alone or with a group? Does it feed in the trees or on the ground? In the sea or in the air? In some species, the sexes look alike, but in others, the males are more brightly colored, and the young then resemble the female. Each brief description gives the length, bill to tail tip, color, distinguishing features, whether or not alone, place of feeding, food, and song. With each description is a silhouette showing main identifying features and a scale divided into blocks, each of 5 centimeters, 2 inches. Use this as a quick measuring gauge the size of birds in relation to one another. The larger the scale, the smaller the bird. White-plumed honeyeater. So this is native birds in gardens. We've got the white-plumed honeyeater, silver eye or white eye, red wattlebird, and the little wattlebird. The white-plumed honeyeater, Lichenostomus penicillata, Lichenostomus pellicata, formerly, that's not important, 16 centimeters. grey-green with yellowish face and wings, small white line each side of neck, family groups in trees, feeds on nectar and insects, shrill alarm calls, and sings chickawee. That's the white-plumed honeyeater. Oh yes, I've seen them around. They're quite nice. They have these little, I believe they have these little yellow faces. Yes, it does say that. They're very, very sweet. We've got the silver eye, or white eye, Zitorops lateralis, 11 centimeters, olive green, pale under with white eye rings. So it's got white around their eyes. They come in flocks, trees, insects, and fruit. That's not very descriptive. Whistling call in flight, soft musical song when feeding. They remind me of Phillip Island, because in Phillip Island they are all through the scrub there. You'll often find them along the foreshore. They have to migrate all the way from Tasmania up to Papua New Guinea, actually. Which is why it's, as Gio says, it's very important we be planting a lot of native indigenous trees around, particularly as street trees, for they'll be coming to Melbourne and then there's no bugs for them to eat. And what do you think happens? They probably starve to death and don't make it up to Papua New Guinea because the flight, I think I heard once that often they lose 30% of their body mass. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they lose 30% of body mass just going from Tasmania to Melbourne. So they need to fill up a lot there. Here. You've got the red wattlebird. Oh, I forgot. They also have a soft musical song while feeding, and they're pretty warble when breeding. Then we have the red wattlebird. We get a lot of these in my garden. They're very sweet. They're always going through the flowers. They're always going. They go. They make like so many weird noises. So red wattlebird, 34 centimeters, large honeyeater, streaked brown and white, yellow abdomen, fleshy lobes, sometimes inconspicuous, in pairs, trees, nectar, and insects. Harsh gruttal calls. Yes, I can attest to that. Funny little guys. One big misconception, of course, is that for things like your wattlebirds and other honeyeaters, well, you only, then say, eat the flower of introduced plants, and surely, if you only, that's what they need, that's fine. It doesn't matter if you're planting indigenous for them, but that's not true, because they do eat insects, and not only that, these birds, their young will only eat insects, and they need bugs for protein, so it's still incredibly important to be planting indigenous plants, which are going to support far more bug life with indigenous insects than regular plants. Just thought I'd add that little bit. We also have the little wattlebird. Amphocharia chrysoptera. 29 centimeters, slightly smaller and more heavily streaked than the red wattlebird, but with no wattle or yellow on abdomen. Chestnut wing patch in flight, singly or in pairs, trees, nectar, and insects. Harsh, varied call. Also introduced birds. Okay, now we have native birds in trees and scrub. And open areas such as the beach park and golf courses. You got the willy wagtail, Ripidura lecophorus. Ripidura lecophorus. 21 centimeters. Black and white, swings tail around, singly or in pairs, ground insects, worms, sing sweet pretty creature. It does not sing pretty creature, but it is a sweet pretty creature indeed. I like that they add that. The reason they actually wag that tail around is because they are trying to disturb the bugs in the grasslands in which they inhabit. and lawns and things, often fertilized lawns they quite like because they'll have more bugs. And they'll swish their tail around to make all the little bugs fly up, and then they'll fly around and catch them. And that's why they have those massive, beautiful wagtails. I know a good song about the willy wagtail. Willy, won't you wag? Anyway, we've got the grey fantail, which moves its tail similarly for the same reason. Ripidura fuliginosa. 15 centimeters. Small little grey version of the willy wagtail. Wow, I think that's a bit. I think if I was grey fantail, I'd probably be a bit offended by that. They're a bit different, you know. Fan's tail, but it's similar in the way it fans its tail. Singularly or small flocks, catches insects in the air, and it's got a silvery song. How do you describe a song as silvery? What does that mean? If any of my listeners, can explain to me what a silvery song is and sing me a silvery song, I would much appreciate that. Send it in at some point. Brown thornbill. Acanthia pusilla. Acanthisa pusilla. 10 centimeters. It's brown thornbills. They're tiny little guys. They flicker around, and you know what? They come through my house. In fact, the silver eyes do too. They both come through my house almost every day these days. It's so lovely. They'll make their way from the front of the garden, through the trees and the nature strip, to the big weeping gum, down the side passageway, through the trees along the side passage, and then they'll come through on one side of the garden, they'll swap to the other, and then go to the very back. And it's like flickering in the trees. You can see them eating the bugs up there. It's very sweet. They're such beautiful, beautiful little chirps. Not the best representation in the world, but they'll go from garden to garden. They'll have like their favorite spots. It might be like a nice park or something. Probably not an open park where you've got lots of noisy miners, I imagine, but yeah, they'll have some scrubby area they'll like, and then they'll travel, allegedly, from they'll find the nice gardens, like my garden, of course, and then they'll travel from them through to their locations, and they are dark with a band across tail, flocks busily working through scrub, searching for insects. Chattering call when moving, pretty warble. They do have a pretty warble. Yellow rumped thornbill. Acanthia chrysohoa. The yellow rumped thornbill. I don't know if we still have, at least in my area, I don't think we have yellow rumped thornbills these days. Wait, he looks an awful lot like a white-browed scrub wren. I could look into whether these are the same birds, because of course this is a book from the 90s. Maybe they've gotten a new name, but I see he does have... It's a very basic illustration, black and white. You can hardly make out much at all about the bird, but it does have a white brow, striking white brow. It has that, it's a thornbill, so it has a thornbill look. It looks like a white-browed scrub wren to me. Wait, is a scrub wren a thornbill? I don't know. Let's see if there's one on one of the other pages. Oh, no, it's not. It's not. The white-browed scrub wren. It's a different bird. I was wrong. Colour me blue. Why, yellow rumped thornbill. Acanthia chrysohoa. 11 centimeters. Brown with yellow rump. Small flocks, often with flame robins. Ground insects. Twitters. It twitters. Most of these birds twitter. But we don't call it Twitter anymore. It's X now. It X's. Flame robin. Petroica phenoecia. 13 centimeters. I'm kidding, by the way. Of course, I would never call it X in real life. That's a stupid name. made by a stupid person. Slate grey, white. What slate grey? Slate. Yeah, I can imagine that. Slate grey, white wing patch, flame red from chin to abdomen. The females are brown with white wing patches. Here only in winter in flocks. Ground insects, larvae, worms. Sings quietly on arrival and before departure. Well, isn't that sweet? You've got native birds in trees and scrub and open areas such as bench park and golf courses. Yellow robin, Epsaltria australis. This is the yellow robin. 15 centimeters, grey with yellow under, very young, mottled brown, singly ground insects, worms, inquisitive piping call. And here, of course, we have the white-browed scrub wren, as my good dear friend Tanya found in my local park, Buran Reserve. Yeah, that's it. Buran Reserve, where... Wait, is it? Yes, I'm sure it is. Where, would you believe it? She found a lovely family of white-browed scrub wrens, in which otherwise known to be locally extinct in Glen Ira. And in this dense scrub right beside the path, wouldn't council have their infinite wisdom to demolish it 2 days later? 2 days later, just start bulldozing the whole thing. Thankfully, she got hold of them. They've now decided to do it in stages. Still stupid, in my opinion. It's a lot of Myroporum they're taking out too, which is really good. It's so good for insects, which of course the white-browed scrub wren would love, and they'd be around a lot more if we didn't have such tall fences. Allegedly, they will not fly higher than I think it's 1.5 meters ish. And so our fences kind of stop them from getting around, as well as the fact that, of course, you've got noisy miners shooing them off, and there's not enough dense scrub for them to use as habitat for their homes. So we really should be putting a lot more dense scrub, taking our fences down, and doing all the other things to combat noisy miners, I would say. Now we have the superb fairy wren. Oh, wait. I forgot to read out its description. Holy guacamole, I just went on a tangent, didn't I? So the white-browed scrub wren is known as Sericornis frontalis. Let me repeat that again for you. Sericornis frontalis. Sericornis frontalis. So it's hard to remember the Spanish, the Italian, the the Spanish names, the scientific names. So let me repeat this again. One more time. Sericornis frontalis. 12 centimeters long, dark brown with white brow, and he's got very striking white brow. It's kind of sparkly brown back, and small black and white patch on the shoulder, because he likes the military style. Probably more police, I should say. He's an official guy. In pairs, ground insects, so it eats ground insects, secretive and thick scrub. I know they'll scrape through leaves, litter on the ground, to pick through the leaves. Buzzing notes, warbling, and songs seldom heard. There you go. Then we have the superb fairy wren. Ugh, those guys think so much of themselves. Everyone loves the superb fairy wren. So popular in the bird kingdom, are they? But they're quite sweet. Bit of patriarchy. The women sure do like their males. 14 centimeters. Malurus cyaneus. Malurus cyaneus. 14 centimeters, black and blue, cocked up tail, female brown, small family parties in thick scrub. Insects, buzzing call with thrilling song. Then we've got the grey shrike thrush. They're nice. Caluricincula harmonica. Oh, it's literally just harmonica. This is the first name, which is just like a word for a scientific name. I like that. Caluricincula harmonica. 24 centimeters. Grey, singly ground insects and other ground prey, single bell-like call and loud melodious song. Grey shrike thrush. They're pretty birds. Don't have too much more to say about them. Ooh, we had some eastern spinebills in my garden the other day, going through the flowers in this plant. The name escapes me, but it looks very much like a wattle. Anyone would say it's a wattle, but it actually diverged from wattles a while ago, and now they live in Africa. They come from Africa, and they're quite similar, but not quite wattles. And yes, they were going through all the flowers. They're beautiful banana bills. The eastern spinebill, Acanthorhynchus. So they're another like nice little bird. It's really long, spiny bill, where they get the name spine bill from. They're a 16 centimeter, small dark honey eater. Dark line from bill to white breast. Chestnut color. Oh yeah, I love their color. It's chestnut color, long down curved black bill, singly probes into blossoms for nectar and insects, piping call. See also introduced birds. I don't know why it just says that at the bottom of every list of birds. Native birds in trees and scrub. Great, so here's your birds all living in the trees and the scrublands. And open areas such as bench, park, and golf courses. So basically, yeah, same as the last set of birds. Magpie lark or peewee. Never heard that one. Gralina cyanoleuca. Gralina cyanoleuca. Gralina cyanoleuca. Someone could make a good song out of that, probably. 28 centimeters, black and white in pairs, ground insects and other ground prey. Calls peewit. Oh, it does, doesn't it? Peewit. Magpie. Grimorhina Dibition. Grimorhina Tibican. 44 centimeters, black and white family groups, ground wide range of foods from insects to seeds and small animals. Yes, loud caroling song. Something like that, I imagine. We got the Australian raven and the little raven. No, I need to learn how to tell these two guys apart. Got the Australian raven, Corvus coronoides. You can tell I never learned how to properly pronounce scientific names. However, I have had it known. I have had it heard it said that the language is lost to time. What is it called? It's called. I know it. I know. I'm just really bad. I have a bad memory. I tell ya. Anyway, it's lost to time. So really, we can make up whatever pronunciations we want. So I could call this Corvus. Although that's pretty obvious. Corvus coronoides. Corvus coronoides, the Australian raven, 52 centimeters, black in pairs, ground insects. Grain carrion, body held in horizontal and throat feathers, ruffled when calling, slow Garr! Call sinking to a mournful gargle. Is how I imagine that to sound. I think is it, or is that the magpie? I think that's magpies. We've got the little raven, Corvus miluri, 50 centimeters, black in flocks, yeah. Great ground insects, grain, a little bit of carrion, raises wings when calling, short, deep, ah, 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 ah. Is that one that goes, ah, 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 ah. I like that guy. He's fun. You can tell. Without the end gargle of the Australian raven. So, which one's the bigger one? They're both basically the same size. Great. Even the illustrations, they basically look identical. That's awesome. Because they're so simple. Like, literally, the only difference is the Australian raven has, like, a tuft of, like, a tiny little bit, like, his neck is slightly more fluffy. That is the only difference between the illustration for the Australian raven and the little raven. Is the Australian raven's neck a little fluffier? I swear, these simple pictographs are not quite doing it for me. Not quite. The yellow robin, for example, does not even have an eyeball. Like, there is no eye. It's just a black face. Room for improvement here. But I guess they only had black and white to work with. There's no shades of grey in these pictures. Then we have the spurwing, or masked plover. Masked plover. These guys are going to the ball, if you know what I mean. They're going to a fancy event of some kind. Oh, wow. Vanillus miles. 34 centimeters, brown above, white below. Yellow facial wattle. Pairs feeds in damp, open ground insects and other ground prey. Often flies at night, giving repeated single high-pitched calls. We've got the silver gull and the Pacific gull and the cormorants and the crested town sisters for native birds on the coast. Let's start off with the silver gull. Larus novae. My God. Larus novae hollandii. Let me repeat that once more. Larus novae hollandii. And if you don't get that in the test afterwards, you're getting an F. You're getting a poor mark. Yeah, there's going to be a test, by the way. I hope you've been memorizing everything. No time to listen back. 41 centimeters. Often called seagull. Inaccurately. Yes, remember that, fellas. The silver gull, which is the gull that you will usually see on the beach that everyone points to and says, "Oh, look at the seagull! The seagulls are coming and taking my chips, bruv! Oh, fuck, and that's my chips!" That's not actually a seagull. That is a silver gull. Know the difference. Know the difference, friends. When your friend tells you, "Oh no, the fucking seagulls are coming for my chips," you can tell them, that's not a seagull. That is a silver gull, okay? Often called seagulls inaccurately because many live on inaccurately because many live on inland lakes. Did you know? They actually live on inland lakes as well, so like you can't go calling them seagulls. That is incredibly offensive. It's a little bit like, it's a little bit racist probably. Those guys also live on lakes, so let's not, let's keep it PC here. Their white bodies, grey wings, black tips. Red bill, so this is your classic red bill, silver gull. Eye rings and legs. Dark in juveniles. Flocks mainly scavengers, harsh cries. Quite funny little guys. They're actually overpopulated in many regards. I can't remember, who was it? There's some birds who are have been at risk without intervention of going potentially extinct because of such high populations of silver gulls coming through and overtaking their floodlands. Pacific gulls. Larus pacificus. Larus pacificus. It's the Larus pacificus. 63 centimeters. White body, black wing, yellow legs. I've seen these guys. These guys are enormous. I've only seen them in Tasmania, actually. I never see them here in Melbourne. But they're in the list for Sandringham. So, maybe they were here, or maybe they're just a little elusive. I just happened upon them. Anyway, black band near the tail tip, young mottled brown, taking about 4 years to reach adult plumage. Singly marine animals and shellfish, single mewing calls. Mew. So they do like their mewing. That's cool. These guys are aesthetic. Muted and unexpected from such mewing calls. Sounds muted and unexpected from so large of a bird. Then you can call these guys seagulls because they do in fact only live by the sea, which is what makes a seagull, apparently. Wow, how many of you? Right, we've got like 2.5 more pages to go. I know this hasn't been the most interesting one in the world. Hopefully the next one gets a bit better. It's just a few birds. By Pauline... I should tell you who... I should have said this at the start. Text is by Pauline Reilly. Silhouettes drawn by Peter Trussler. And don't worry, you're not missing out on too much. No offense, Peter. They're nice. And for what you have, which is only black, pure black ink, like you've done a good job. You've done a good enough job. I could probably tell 90% of these birds from the pictures if I look close enough. And I suppose they're right. You're only going to see a silhouette half the time. Anyway, this one's just been about some birds, so the next ones might have some... I think they will have more relevant content. Because we mostly know the birds. We don't know the birds, all of us. Some of us are going to get lots of good information out of this. Next one is your cormorants. Corax species. 79 centimeters. 5 species. 2 are all black. 3 black and white. 2 are big... What? Oh, it's just going over all the different types of cormorants. Okay. I was like, what do you mean? Like, you've got cormorants, and then you've got, I see there's, 2 big ones. Oh, that one's, smaller and black. And, are you just talking about individuals here? No. 5 species. They said that from the start. I'm not even reading properly. That's the difference between, a good audiobook reader and a bad one. It's the bad one just says the words. The good one knows what he's talking, knows what he's reading, and is interpreting it correctly. Puts the emphasis on the right words. And I will try and be that for you. 5, I don't know, if you can't tell, I haven't actually listened to many audiobooks, so I don't really know what they're usually like, but 5 species. 2 are all black. So there's 5 species. I'm just repeating myself. 3 black and white, 2 are big, 2 are smaller, 1 is in between. This feels like okay, I can't really visualize this well, but like, okay, so you've got a bunch of different sized ones, basically. All feed in the sea. Wow, all of them. I usually see them along riversides, like along the Yarra. I see a lot of them, and in lakes. But all feed in the sea, diving underwater for fish. Recognize these birds as cormorants by the way they stand upright on piers and rocks with wings held out. Then identify species from books. The black cormorant is illustrated. Yes, that's why it's an entirely black silhouette with no eyes or anything else. It's a bit of a sad story, the cormorants. You see, they never got that beautiful waxy substance that the ducks got on their feathers, on their wings. And so they have to stand there for hours on end, looking out into the sunset as the sun dries them, watching the ducks all enjoy and play the water, not having to spend a single moment drying their feathers because they have but they're still competitive with them. They must be, because they're still around. But yeah, they are. They have to spend a lot of time drying off because they get soaking wet when they dive underwater. We have the crested tern. This guy looks silly. Sterna bergii. Sterna bergii. 47 centimeters. Like a short-legged silver gull with an untidy black cap. Oh. Flocks. Shallow dive from the air for fishing, rasping call. Now we have native birds of the air and open spaces. You have the welcome swallow, 15 centimeters, shining blue, black, pale grey under rusty face and throat. Yeah, I do know a better list actually. Next. No, I'll say it afterwards. 15 centimeters, shining blue, black, pale grey, under rusty face and throat. Forked tail flies swiftly in small flocks, low underwater or cleared places, hawking for insects, single in high-pitched whistle in flight. Then we have the swifts. You've got the forked-tailed and the spine-tailed. Like large swallows, seen often before a storm, hawking in flocks, never known to land in Australia, to which they are summer visitors from Asia, where they breed. Holy shit! Are you telling me these guys fly from Asia and then just like never land, just like continuously fueling off insects? That's crazy. That's crazy. Just like, no, they'd have to sleep. How could they not sleep? Just flying? They're not like fish, where you can kind of just float around. So. Fork-tailed, Apus pacificus. 17 centimeters, has a wide rump and is dark under. Then we've got the spine-tailed, Hiradapus. Ooh, Hiradapus. Carudacatus. 20 centimeters, has white on throat and white under blunt tail. Then we have the introduced birds found everywhere. Just everywhere. We've got the blackbird, the goldfinch, the Indian ocon and the myna. And you know what? Notice something. I'm noticing a bird that has not come up in this list so far of native birds. That is the noisy myna. You know why? Because this was created in the 90s. The noisy myna wouldn't have even been around these places so much back then. I mean, I don't know. I know certainly not in overpopulated populations, but I think, Yeah, because they used to just be a country bird. They used to live out in the countryside, and then they just came in one day. Some group of them learned, oh, we can live in the suburbs, and then they did en masse. But as of this time, when this book was written, we didn't have noisy miners. Excuse the yawn. It's currently 12:31 in the morning. We've got the blackbird. Male black with yellow bill and eye ring. Female brown, young mottled brown in pairs, ground insects, fruit, worms. Beautiful song. We've got the goldfinches. Light brown, 12 centimeters, light brown, black wing with dark yellow patch head, red, white, and black flocks near grassland, ground thistles, and spider twitters. You've got Indian or common miner, as I'm sure you're aware of. 25 centimeters, chocolate brown, white, yellow face. I've gotten a lot of the flack that was actually due to common miners. No, sorry. I was just talking about them. This is because it's so late. I shouldn't record it at such a time. But, wait. Oh, never mind. I'll just keep going. The large white wing patch in flight flocks struts from road, accurately judging speed of traffic, ground insects, but most food. What is this word? Ruckus? Yes, ruckus notes to chattering songs. Then we have the introduced birds found everywhere. Starlings, 20 centimeter metallic sheen to black plumage, light tips of feathers after molt, young light brown flocks, particularly going to roost, ground, tree insects, fruit worms, whistles and chuckles on overhead wires. It mimics, apparently. We've got 4 more. Tree sparrow, house sparrow, spotted or turtle dove, and rock doves. I love my doves. I would call that a rock pigeon. Is there a difference between a pigeon and a dove? I don't think there is. The rock dove. I want to read about the rock dove because I like them the most. Columbia livia, 34 centimeters. There's much better books on birds than this, so I'm not really sure why I've gone and read this one. Maybe I should have skipped it. I don't know. Well, maybe next time I'll consider. Most of these don't really need to be. I think I'll finish it off now. That was the Sandringham Environment Series, #1, Common Birds. And I have some better books on birds. I might, before I read something, I might vet it and decide whether it's worth reading, and then skip it if I know of another resource that is better next time. I'll definitely post this. I might just post the whole Sandringham series. I just wanted to try this out. See, with a small little booklet, you know. That was a nice, tasty little one. We've got plenty more booklets to go here. And I'm excited to explore them with you all. And by you all, I mean at least probably myself. To go over this shit while I'm reading or whatever. And if anyone else is interested, that's great too. I'll catch you next time. It's been a lovely, drizzly night to spend with you all. Sitting on my back couch, all cozied up with these wool blankets. Hope you all have a wonderful day.